Okay, our next episode is entitled Angel 1, and this one originally aired on January 23rd, 1988, and it was written by Patrick Barry and directed by Michael Rhodes. And the plot with this particular one, the Enterprise is tracking several escape pods from a freighter known as Odin to a planet called Angel 1. And Riker, Data, Troy, and Yar actually beam down to the surface, and they want an audience with the Governing Council. And the Governing Council is actually the entire planet of Angel 1 is a matriarchal society. That means that the females are the hunters, the soldiers, and the rulers, and they're basically larger and stronger than the males, which is kind of a reversal of what ancient Earth was like. And basically with this particular episode, the Enterprise crew recognizes that because it's a matriarchal society, the away team, which consists mostly of women, is going to be the ones to be doing the talking and the action aboard this particular mission. So Riker makes the decision that he's actually going to get into the garb of a male aboard Angel 1, and basically is going to do some a little different tactics than normal, while the away team actually negotiates with the council to try to find the survivors of the Odin. Now, Mistress Beta, who is the head of one of Angel 1's government, she agrees to let them search the planet, but only if they take the survivors with them when the Enterprise leaves. They were not happy that Odin was at the planet in the first place, and the only way that they're going to allow this is if they actually bring them back with them. So they agree to do this, and in the meantime, while the Enterprise crew goes to find the people on the Odin, Riker decides that he's going to stay with Mistress Beta and negotiate using some romantic charm, basically. And Mistress Beta is going to be taking the lead because she is the dominant figure in this one. At the same time, the Enterprise has actually been made aware that a Romulan battlecruiser was reported near the neutral zone, and they've been ordered to investigate. But they're stalled because Wesley Crusher, of all people, actually got some kind of a virus while aboard the holodeck with one of the other young people. So, go figure, another problem with the holodeck. But the infection is spreading across the entire crew, and so they're not really prepared to leave orbit, and they're also not really prepared to rescue the survivors of Odin because they'll be infected with this virus if they get back aboard the Enterprise. To top it all off, the survivors of Odin, once they are discovered by the female Enterprise crew, they actually don't want to leave the planet. They're happy with the way things are, and even though they're not happy about how they're being treated by the women on board or on the planet, they still have settled there and they want to stay where they are. Well, eventually the government of Angel 1 discovers that the Enterprise crew has not brought them back to the Enterprise like they said they would, and they are going to be executing those people of the Odin. Well, because of this, we find out that one of the leaders of Odin is actually married with one of the council members of Angel 1. That's why they didn't want to leave, and that complicates matters even further. So now one of the council members are going to be executed as well. And even with this threat, the Enterprise can't beam them up because of the fact of the virus. So eventually Riker gives a speech about the inevitability of change, and that Mistress Beta needs to realize that this is not going to go on. And eventually, as did the people on Earth, the power struggle between male and female will even out, and that they can't be treating people this way. So Mistress Beta recants, and she doesn't execute the crew members of the Odin, but she does send them into exile in a remote region. And at the same time, Dr. Crusher finds a cure for the virus on the ship, and the away team beams back, and the Enterprise warps away from Angel 1 to figure out what's going on with the Romulan situation. And that's basically the end of the episode. Now, this is actually a little bit different than how the original script was for this episode. The original plot by Patrick Peary would have seen Riker and Data travel to the surface with the other female crew, and the Angel 1 government is so offended that there was a male who was brought onto the planet that Yar actually stuns Riker with a phaser to show strength in order to prevent his immediate execution. Riker is then imprisoned as one of the Maroon Men, and one of the Maroon Men he meets is Lucas Jones, and they start an uprising on the planet. Well, Jones is killed, but his death inspires his followers to assault the government, and in that version, Picard is actually the only one to fall ill aboard the Enterprise from the virus, not so many other people on the crew. Now, Patrick Stewart originally felt this was a very sexist episode, so he had a lot of this changed, and even after there were some changes to the script, it's still considered by many to be one of the most sexist episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation. It was originally supposed to be kind of a metaphor for the apartheid situation in South Africa, meaning that the black people in South Africa were represented by the men on board Angel 1. So that was basically the connection, and they were trying to parallel that situation. However, the reviews by people who saw it, both the producers and cast members and fans, really did not respond very well to this particular episode, and it's considered by many to be the second worst episode of the season and perhaps the series too. Code of Honor being probably the worst, and then this one being the second worst out of them. And my personal opinion about it, this is not one of my favorite episodes, and in a way I understand what they were going for. I mean, they don't treat the men well, but that's to show the point of how badly and outdated this practice is, and just to show that parallel with the South African situation. But I feel like they go a little bit too far in this episode, and it's really distracting. Plus, just look at this picture here with Commander Riker. I mean, who wants to see a hairy chest like that? Not me. But I think that this is an episode that, another thing that I don't like is that they have another malfunction with the holodeck. We just saw a malfunction with the Big Goodbye, and that was done pretty well. But now we have another one just 2 episodes later. This doesn't seem to be a very reliable technology if everyone's marveling over it. So I think it's too soon to have a problem like this already, and it's really not an episode that sticks out really. I think it's one of the most forgettable episodes too. So not one of my favorites, but I'm happy to review it for you guys. Stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks, guys.